Hey, I'm Sis, and these are my level 3 trader builds. Alright guys, so level 3 traders is when stuff starts to get a lot more fun in terms of modding. Not only do you have more attachments to choose from and more flexibility in how you build your weapons, you also have more weapons in general to use, and on top of that, you can start running mid-tier builds at this point, which is awesome. That being said, the first weapon on my list is the AKM from Prapor level 2 for 43,000 rubles. And again, this is just a classic. Everyone loves the AKM. It hits hard with the 7.62 and modding it is just always a lot of fun. So starting on the left side here, we have the Kiba Arms muzzle adapter from Mechanic level 3 for 4,536 rubles. And having that on just allows you to put on the CAC QDC muzzle brake kit from Mechanic level 3 for 18,000 rubles. And obviously having that on allows you to run a suppressor, in this case the CAC PRS QDC suppressor from Peacekeeper level 3 for $558 US. So having a suppressor here obviously helps with your recoil a lot, but it also helps keep your shots silent. Obviously that's a really stupid thing to say, duh, but it's basically needed if you're playing solo, and honestly it just makes the gun look cooler, so why not run it, you know? So moving on with the rest of the build here, the next thing up is the TDI X47 handguard rail from Skier level 3 for 22,195 rubles. That allows you to do two things. One, it allows you to put on your sight of choice. In my case it's the hollow sight, but you can put on whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't really matter that much. And second, it allows you to put on your foregrip. In this case, I decided to go with the RK1 foregrip from Skier level 3 for 20,000 rubles. Having that on again helps a lot with your recoil, so you definitely want to be having the RK1 on for your recoil reduction. Alright, so as we inch closer to the back of the gun here, we have the Magpul Mo pistol grip from Mechanic level 3 for 8,239 rubles. And what this will do for you is essentially increase your ergonomics, which again is really important. So as we go to the back of the gun here, we have the OP4 AA47 buttstock from Mechanic level 3 for 21,952 rubles. And again, this is the best option, at least at level 3, in terms of reducing your recoil. So having that on is again going to help your recoil a lot. And last but not least, once we have that done, we just put on the CSS charging handle from Skier level 3 for 5,750 rubles. And this is going to give you a +3 bonus to your ergonomics, which again is really helpful. And yeah, that's basically it for this AKM build. So the final price of this gun is actually going to be 144,437 rubles and $558 US. Again, this is gonna actually fluctuate up or down depending on which sight you decide to run on your gun, because again, that's up to you, but for the most part, that's gonna be a good baseline for what your price is gonna actually be for this weapon. In terms of the statistics, the two important ones are you're gonna have 42 ergonomics and 55 vertical recoil, which is not bad. It's a pretty decent mid-tier build, to be honest, and yeah. So if you're looking for a weapon that's a lot cheaper than the AKM, the RPK is a really good choice. It's obviously not going to hit as hard as the 7.62 from the AKM, but the 5.45 is still decent, especially for a budget weapon, I would say. So all that out of the way, we can get into this build. Going into this build, you actually can't get the RPK from level 3 traders. You can barter for it, but that barter is an absolute scam in my opinion. So what we're gonna do here is go to the flea market and buy the RPK for anywhere between 40 to 50k is kind of where it hovers at. We can get right into the build here, starting off with the PWS CQB from Skier level 3 for 15,615 rubles. Obviously this isn't a suppressor, but it does give a really nice recoil reduction at about -20-ish in that range, which is really nice for your vertical recoil. Continuing on, we have the RK1 foregrip again from Skier level 3 for 20,496 rubles, which again gives you a nice recoil reduction, and having that recoil as low as possible is going to help a lot with this RPK. Up next, we have the X400 flashlight from Peacekeeper level 3 for $122 US. Again, I'm a bit of a flashlight whore. I love my flashlights on my weapons, so it's up to you if you want to run a flashlight or a laser. I just prefer flashlights. And now as we get through this weapon here, we got the saw style pistol grip for $54. This is going to help our ergonomics, which is great. We want high ergonomics as well as really low recoil. Having those two together is obviously great. As we get to the back of the gun, I decided to go with the Mo carbine stock. I know in this video here it's not updated, but if you go with the green Mo carbine, it's actually $10 cheaper at $71. I have the black one on because I want my gun to look cool, but it is $10 more expensive, so just keep that in mind. Once you put that on, you can also put on the Mo carbine butt pad for $71, and having those two together is a great reduction to your recoil. Again, obviously having low recoil is the focal point of this gun. Once you got all those attachments on, you just put on your sight of choice, and that's basically it. That's the build. The final price of this weapon comes out to 76,111 rubles and $440. This price is going to go up or down a little bit depending on how much you got the RPK for off the flea market and which site you decided to use. But this is a good baseline for it, and as you can see, it's actually not that expensive. It's pretty cheap to run for how much damage it can do. In terms of the statistics, we have 63 ergonomics, which is really good, and 52 vertical recoil, which will be more than enough for you in your raids. And last up on our list here is the SR25, probably my favorite weapon on this list and definitely my favorite to mod. So getting into the actual build here, you can grab the weapon from Peacekeeper for $1,100 or get it on the flea market. You can sometimes grab it for cheaper on the flea market depending on the time of day. And yeah, it's kind of a pricey weapon, but trust me, it's really fun to use. Getting into the mods of the weapon, we have the CAC flash suppressor from Peacekeeper. This actually comes on the gun base if you buy it from Peacekeeper, and if you get it off the flea market if you're paying attention to the attachment on the weapon. And having that on allows us to suppress it with the CAC PRS QDC suppressor from Peacekeeper for $558. And again, that just gives us our suppressor and a nice recoil reduction as well. In terms of the handguard, I decided to go with the RSAS handguard from Peacekeeper for $219. And this gives a little recoil reduction, and honestly it just looks super nice in my opinion. That's kind of the main reason I put this on, to be honest. So getting into what we have on the handguard, we have the 4-inch rail for 2,000 rubles from Mechanic. And having that on allows us to put our foregrip on, which is the Magpul RVG foregrip from Peacekeeper for $78. The reason I went with this one is it's a nice balance between the recoil reduction and ergonomics boost, and honestly just an added bonus, it matches the color of the handguard and it looks super nice. It may be a little bit hard to see on this weapon, but on the other side of this we have the 2-inch rail for 1,200 rubles from Mechanic. And having that on allows us to put our laser sight on, which is the LS321 tactical device for 18,000 rubles from Skier. I normally go with flashlights, but I decided to go with the laser for this gun just for making the point firing a lot easier. That again is always personal preference. It's up to you what you want to run. I just personally prefer the laser. You can run a flashlight if you want, or if you're crazy, you can run nothing. It's entirely up to you. With the handguard out of the way and all that stuff, we can go over to the grip I decided to run. I chose the overmolded grip from Peacekeeper for $40, and again, this just gives you a nice ergonomics boost to go with your weapon. At the back here, we have the Mo carbine stock and the Mo carbine butt pad. You can get the stock from Peacekeeper for $73, and you can get the butt pad from Peacekeeper for $71, and those two put together give you a nice recoil reduction as well. Going into the sight I use, this is entirely personal preference, but I'll go over it in this video in case you wanted to copy this build exactly as it is. So for me on this weapon, I decided to go with the Mag Mount 30mm ring scope from Jaeger for 6,000 rubles, and having that on lets me put on the TAC 30 from Jaeger for 33,000 rubles. The thing with the TAC 30 is you have to buy it from the flea market unless you complete the Hermit quest. If you complete the Hermit quest, you actually unlock it from Jaeger. If you don't have that quest done, you need to buy it from the flea market, which will cost a little bit more, obviously. So once we're done modding, the final price will be 165,453 rubles, and that's just for the attachments. Once you factor in the actual weapon, if you get it from Peacekeeper, it's $1,131 on top of that, or whatever you spent on the flea market. So it is a pretty expensive weapon, but it's a really good weapon as well, and it hits pretty hard with the bullets. It's just a really good gun to run if you got the money. Obviously the price will go up or down depending on what sight or what laser you decide to use, but that's just what this exact build costs. In terms of our final stats here, we have 37 ergo and 89 recoil. Honestly, you can mod this to be even better for the ergonomics or even better for the recoil. I kind of took a road that was more so in line with the recoil but didn't tank the ergonomics too much, so tried to have it more a bit balanced, but you can definitely mod it stacked one way or the other. It's just entirely up to you. I just went with a more balanced approach for this build. Alright, I just wanted to throw this gun in as a little bit of an honorable mention if you're low on money, or if you're trying to do money runs or just do some quests. The 5.7 is an absolute beast and honestly probably the best pistol in the game. So if you're ever doing a pistol run for whatever reason, you can drop some pretty geared players with this weapon, and you don't even have to mod it at all. You just put it on, get some ammo, and you're good to go basically, and you can just drop people. So definitely something to keep in the back of your mind if you're doing some pistol runs, and I felt like I would just include it in this video. And these are all the weapons I have for you. Let me know what you think of them, and let me know which weapons you actually run from the level 3 traders. I would love to know. If you have any more questions, feel free to check me out on twitch.tv/Sizba. I'm streaming Tarkov all the time there. You can ask me any questions. You can also ask them in the comments. And until next time, I will see you guys later.